Okay, at this point in time, I know I have you talked into building a storage facility. I think in your mind, you decided which market, maybe even which submarket to focus on. And because of that submarket, you've decided that it either needs to be a one level or a multi-level facility. So now let's talk about, let's just assume for a minute that it's built. But we know, like I've told you earlier, you're going to get the management company on almost day one. So you're already working with them, but there's nothing more fun than the general contractor handing the keys to the management company. That first day that you open, you've got your certificate of occupancy and you're starting to rent units. So who are you going to give those keys to? Who do you turn it over to? There are a few choices. Well, there are more than a few, but there are only just a few good choices. I'm going to talk about those good choices, but let me talk about one person who probably should not manage that facility, and that's you. You, the owner. You're probably not qualified. I don't mind telling you that because I've seen this too many times where someone builds a nice facility at a good location. They want to be penny wise and pound foolish, so they don't hire a professional management company. They hire their brother-in-law who's never managed a storage facility before, puts them in there, and it doesn't lease up. So one of two things happen. You either finally get wise and you hire a professional manager, or the bank takes back your property. It's that simple. Because if they don't lease up, you're probably going to have trouble making that debt service payment. So let's assume that you take my advice and you're going to hire somebody to manage your facility for you. There are many storage management companies out there, small, medium, and large. The small ones are challenged. The medium ones are challenged. And I'll tell you why. And I talked earlier about it, and that's the search today that we all go through for different services and products that we buy each day. First thing when you get ready to buy something nowadays, you certainly don't go to the yellow pages because I'm not even sure they print those anymore. You may think about a previous experience that you had, but more likely than not, you're going to reach for your mobile device, be it a phone or iPad, or maybe you're sitting at your desk and you go to Google search on your desktop. Well, that's what people do now when they think about needing storage. So you have to consider that. You have to think about it. Put yourself in the consumer's shoes and say, how am I going to find this beautiful storage facility that's just been built that you own? And that gets back to who should manage your facility. It should be somebody that is relevant with Google. And those are terms you should put quotation marks around. Relevant with Google. Relevance means to me that you're consistently on the first page of Google search when you look for storage in your market, in your submarket, on your street, in your zip code, whatever the searches could be. You just need to be on the first page when that search comes up. So could it be a small management company? Yes, not likely, but it could. And the way, or medium size for that matter, and the way they can be relevant is to have a very good concentration of properties in a very small area with good marketing budgets within each of those properties where they can spend on Google for not only paid search, but also spend to keep their sites optimized. So that is really the key. Make sure you hire a manager who is relevant on Google. Now let's talk about the ones who are most relevant. Any guesses? Sure, the REITs. The 4 public company REITs. CubeSmart, Extra Space, Uncle Bob's, and Public Storage. You search for storage just about any place in the country, go online and search for storage. Those 4 companies, more likely than not, are going to pop up, either in paid or in generic. That's not it. Call it out. Organic. There you go. Thanks. Organic search. or Google Local, they're gonna show up almost any place in the country, even if they don't have storage facilities in that market, which is incredible. That's just the power of their platforms. So my way of thinking, you need probably to hire one of those 4 companies. Now, some of my friends who own management companies that are smaller than, that are not REITs, are probably gonna fuss at me for this, but they can be relevant and they can be successful, but just make sure they get you on the first page of Google. That is the key to the management company, and just hire the best. Hire the people who you feel most comfortable with. What is their role during the construction period? Well, they do your budgeting for you. They'll do that on the front end. You just have your site under control, that you got it under contract, or you're perhaps already bought it. Hire your management company. They'll give you a 5-year projection as to, they'll help you with your mix. I've already mentioned that in an earlier segment. They will help you with signage. They will treat that property like they own it themselves. And if you get the feeling early on that they're not treating it that way, well, then find another management company. The good ones will do that. You really can't tell the difference between a company-owned property and a third-party managed property with the larger companies. They do a great job. I know I put Public Storage in there. I don't think they manage much for third parties. And so maybe it's just Uncle Bob's and Extra Space and CubeSmart. But those 3 companies I know do an outstanding job in helping you from day one with your mix, with your rents. They'll tell you when they think they can lease it up. They can tell you what those rents are going to be, what those expenses are going to be, give you that 5-year budget. And I can't express to you enough the need to get your manager on early and make sure you hire a manager who has a platform that will have you on the first page of Google at almost all times. Okay, thanks. We'll take a break there and come back and talk about how to finance a storage facility next.